I'm Doc Hunsley. I'm the Executive Director and founder of SOAR Special Needs in Overland Park, Kansas. SOAR Special Needs is an independent nonprofit organization in which we empower families with disabilities to be able to soar in their local and faith communities. And we answer the three main questions that every family with a disability has. The first question is, will my child ever be able to provide for themselves? The second question, who's going to take care of my child once I'm gone? And then the third question is, who will take care of me as a parent? And SOAR answers all three of those questions with our current and our future program. SOAR currently works with any individual with disabilities all over the United States. Our current age range is from birth to 71 years of age. We take every diagnosis, all severities. We work primarily in the Overland Park, Kansas City area, but we do a lot virtually now. So we actually are working with individuals from all over the United States. SOAR stands for Special Opportunities, Abilities, and Relationships. Obviously, my real name's not Doc. My real name is Steven, but everyone calls me Doc because I'm actually a pediatrician. I was a pediatrician who worked in the emergency room, and I became sick taking care of my kids. I spent 46 days in the intensive care unit where 3 different times the physicians told my wife to make plans. I wouldn't make it through the night. The top 4 diagnoses on my chart, each one by itself had a 0.01 survival rate. I lost 75 pounds of muscle mass and had to go through 9 months of rehab just to be able to walk again. Despite having my flu shot, my first week back to work, I ended up with influenza. That put me back into the intensive care unit. I, once again, almost died. But it was determined at that point, I'm the only person in the world ever known to have this. The main muscle allows you to breathe. This is called the diaphragm. Half of mine on the right is paralyzed. So in essence, I only have 40% lung function, and I can't fight upper respiratory infections. A few months after that, my second son was born. I've been blessed. I've got 3 amazing kids, but my second son, Mark, was born, went out on paternity leave. My first day back to work, I got a phone call from my boss, had to go to a meeting downtown, had the entire HR department, 2 rows of attorneys, and a row of physicians I've never seen in my life, and 1 chair facing the entire room. Needless to say, I could see the writing on the wall. They ended my medical career just like that and said I had to go out on long-term disability. All I ever wanted to do since I was a first grader was be a pediatrician, and my dreams were crushed. I then took the hardest job I ever had in my life, and that was become Mr. Mom for, at the time, my 2 boys. When Mark was 8 months old, he had his first seizure. That seizure lasted over 4 hours. Fast forward 18 months later, we got the diagnosis of Dravet syndrome, which is a very rare genetic seizure disorder. By the time he was 2, we got the diagnosis of autism. My wife's also a pediatrician, so we went from being physicians who took care of a lot of kids with special needs to all of a sudden being a parent of a child with special needs. It's 24/7, 365. You never get a break. Mark, our son with the Dravet syndrome, he's taught us so much. And then 10 years ago now, on November 1st of 2010, he was cured of his autism and his Dravet syndrome when he was born into heaven at the age of 5.5. So we were blessed with him for 5.5 years, learned all the highs and lows of being a parent, then walked through the grief of losing a child. 6 weeks after that, my intestine exploded on me. I almost died again. But the one word that now is my life word that God has taught me through all this is the word perspective. Perspective is my key word in life. Because no matter what is going on in your life, someone else is always worse off. You know what? I've actually lost 2 major careers. I've lost a son. I've lost my health multiple times over and over. I don't want to ever go through any one of those things. I've had nothing but 15 years of trials. But I can stand here or sit here and tell you, I thank God for each and every one of those. Because if none of that happened, I could not serve families that we serve today. The color of our logo is green. The reason for that is green was Mark's favorite color. This organization is my son's legacy. That little redheaded boy is reaching more families and more people than I ever could have dreamed. I'm now more passionate about what I do now than I ever was about being a physician. We provide respite nights. And again, right now, because of COVID, it's all working a little different. Normally before COVID, we would do a respite night on a Friday night. We take 150 plus individuals with disabilities, all ages. And every single person would have a buddy one-on-one with them. Plus, we would take the siblings because siblings don't have a normal life. And we would have about 90 siblings. And then we would have 400 to 500 volunteers to help with this night. Completely free. We give the parents the night out to let them go out because, again, they never get that break. One of my favorite things I love to do is watch our parents as they come back. And every time that our parents are coming in, I stand at the door and I welcome them. As you watch these families come in with their child at the beginning of the night, you see the stress on them. And we announce these kids, and it's just such a huge, the kids love it, the parents are crying, they have a great time, but the parents are just stressed out. When they come back in 3 hours later, they are completely new people. You see that they have hope again. They feel like they've had a life. And I love asking them, hey, what did you do tonight? How was your night? And they may have said, oh, I went grocery shopping. I never realized I could actually get all my shopping done in 20 minutes and no meltdowns. It was amazing. Or another parent may say, I went home. I just had the best 2-hour nap I've had in my life, because families with disabilities don't get to have good rest. The divorce rate for families with disabilities is 90%, 90. If you add a medical illness like seizures or diabetes, it jumps to 95%. So the biggest thing, they never get a time to themselves. But the one that has stuck out forever, and I will never, ever forget, a husband and wife walked in, and I asked them how their night was. And the mom, with tears in her eyes, said, Doc, tonight was the first time in 17 years my husband and I have had dinner together. 17 years. But Dad jumped right in and said, Doc, I've got to tell you something. Monday morning, again, this is a Friday night. He goes, Monday morning, I've got an appointment with my attorney to drop divorce papers. He goes, but tonight, I realized I still love her. We just need more time like this. And I'm going to make a deal with you. If you promise to continue to have these nights, I'll postpone that meeting. Well, we're 9 years later now, and they've never had that meeting. And that's the power of SOAR Special Needs and what we're doing. Just being able to help these parents know that there's hope. So I could go on and on and on, but there are so many amazing things that happens because I only have one requirement for someone to work or help with our organization. That one requirement, can you be a friend? Because if you can be a friend, we can do anything else. I can teach you everything else there is. There's nothing you have to be worried about. The biggest thing, they all have the biggest heart. And I promise whenever you work with individuals with special needs, you will be blessed. It's the most rewarding job I've ever had in my life, and I can't dream of ever doing anything else. And I will not rest until we can provide respite for every single family, and we can completely turn the table on these divorce rates for these families. And that's why SOAR Special Needs exists and why I do what I do.